The Arizona Cardinals have an opportunity to prove so many things on Sunday at home against the Rams. What are they? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner _ Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. Terms and conditions apply. In full swing for my 8th season as host of Locked On Cardinals. This is going to be the most fun year, I think, since I started in sports radio in 2011 for various reasons. Obviously starting up, working hard, doing all those things to get to where I am now was great, fulfilling in its own right. I think this is going to be, for better or worse, outcome-wise for the Cardinals, going to be the most fun, exciting, unknowns, so many things. And before I get into the game, next segment, I'm going to do what the Cardinals need to do more of on Sunday that they did last week against Buffalo, and then what they need to do less of, the poor things that we saw from them on Sunday against Buffalo, against the Rams. So I'm doing keys to victory in kind of a 2-segment kind of thing now, kind of trying something new. Leave in the comments if you like this, if you like doing keys to victory in just one segment. But I think that after the crossover episode yesterday, there was a lot of things that I was thinking. And it's a lot of outside noise about the Cardinals outside the confines of State Farm Stadium and their practice facility. It started with Kyler Murray missing Marvin Harrison Jr. wide open. That clip went viral. There were obviously things that were outside of Kyler Murray's control at that point to where he couldn't get the ball to him. Would have if he saw him. 1. 2, Marvin Harrison Jr. and his top speed under 17 miles per hour. Everybody is up in flames. Oh, this is why he didn't run the 40. Oh, this is why he didn't participate in the combine or any of his pro days or anything like that. This is why he was hiding this. And then, most recently, PHNX posted something about, it was a quote from Kyler Murray talking about why he didn't, find Marvin Harrison Jr. And it was clipped. Part of it was clipped by an aggregator on Twitter to get clicks, to get retweets, everything like that, to get, engagement. And it took the complete point of the entire quote out of context. And of course, what was clipped and quoted and tweeted and engaged upon through that aggregator, that's what went viral to all the, ESPN picked it up, Dan Patrick picked it up. And it pretty much said, Kyler Murray, it's not his fault and it's not his job to find Marvin Harrison Jr. and all of those things. And that was completely out of context. And then there was something that I saw on my 4-letter network app, which was a video clipped of Stephen A. Smith saying Marvin Harrison Jr. might already regret being in Arizona or should regret being in Arizona with the Cardinals. And it just shows, I've discussed this pretty much since the beginning of time in this space, is national media, they are lazy when it comes to the Cardinals because the majority of the time the Cardinals aren't at the tip top of their rundown sheet for any sort of respective show. They're not relevant. The indifference is what kills you. It's not they're talking about them negatively. It's they're indifferent to the Arizona Cardinals. And it just shows laziness when it comes to lists, power rankings, things like that throughout the offseason. And then even into the season, aside from 2021, when the Cardinals were good to start the season, indifference and laziness. Stephen A. Smith is a basketball guy. Anytime he talks about anything else, it doesn't hit the same. So when I say that it's time for the Cardinals to prove it, there are a bunch of different things that I mean. With all of those things that are culminating in the outside noise, and all of the things that we've seen this offseason and in through week 1, there's just a list of things the Cardinals can check off and prove to people that they're legit. And it all begins and ends with beating the Rams on Sunday. Kyler Murray's worth. Marvin Harrison Jr. has bounced back. The defense playing better. The run game continuing. Drew Petzing actually being a good play caller and not, a couple plays picked here and there where it's like, oh, Drew Petzing's regressed. Oh, the second half was terrible. When it comes to Drew Petzing, I can't help but think in the back of his mind, and I've preached this, he doesn't think it because I told him. I just wanted to clarify. He knows that this defense is not very good. So I can't help but think in his mind, thinking, eat clock, eat clock, eat clock. And that's not the overarching or overwhelming, motif when he's scripting plays or when he's calling plays in the middle of the game, but it's got to be part of it. It's got to be infused into his thought process. And can't blame the guy. It's time for Kyler Murray to prove that he can be elite. It's time for Marvin Harrison Jr. to prove what he is and who he was when he was drafted number 4 overall. It's time to prove to national media that the Cardinals are a force in 2024. And it's time to prove that any NFL team going up against a team who may be starting 2 of their starting offensive linemen out and having their wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 1A out in Puka Nacua can get at the quarterback and win a game at home. That's the biggest one. Not just the national media part, but prove it to themselves. Going into week 2, when you say must, you'll never hear me say must win. I think it's lazy. I think you can say about any NFL game. I think it's obvious that every game should be, it's a must win. But when you look at the Cardinals schedule, if the Cardinals go 2-2 in the first 4 weeks, you could be seeing them in the hunt overlay, week 14, week 15. Because they play Detroit next week and they play Washington at home the week after. If the Cardinals go 1-3 or worse, we're going to be having different conversations. I don't see why the Cardinals don't win on Sunday. What do the Cardinals need to do more of that they did well this past week against the Bills? We'll discuss it next. Locked on Cardinals, your team, yours every day. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board, man. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively looking for a new job but might be open to a perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is also brought to you by FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, man. America's #1 sportsbook. Why wouldn't we talk about them? Well, we have something a little different for you. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. If you haven't seen the beauty of Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, it is worth a $5 wager on FanDuel. I promise you that, to get a couple weeks. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game, which is bonkers. They're adding more games to the afternoon. So you can take advantage of that also with the YouTube TV base plan. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. And if that's not enough, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's double your winnings for all of Sunday 9:15 pre-game moneyline bets. Profit Boost will be live starting Thursday 9:12. View your account page now to learn more about the boost. Just visit FanDuel.com. Download America's #1 sportsbook. I don't want to start having uncomfortable conversations early in the season. You've seen me, everydayers. You've seen me embrace this new regime. Embrace Kyler Murray coming off injury. Embrace their choice to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. instead of trade back, even though I was team trade back until about 2 weeks before the season started, 2 weeks before the draft. Embrace Monty Ossenfort and his slow and steady approach. I want to do that, and I have done that. But if this starts to look like the same old Cardinals, which a lot of people are chirping already that it is after 1 week, I'm not one of them. You best believe I will be reverting back and calling for things that may make other people uncomfortable, too uncomfortable to say. You know me. Every day you've been around. You know the drill. So what do the Cardinals need to do more of? They need to run the ball more on Sunday. And, well, they ran the ball a lot. Yes. Kyler Murray only threw the ball a couple times in the second half. Yes. They need to run the ball more. And when I say more, I mean more attempts. I don't mean as potently as they did pertaining to play calls. They need to run the ball effectively to be able to set up the play action. They need to run the ball effectively to allow Kyler Murray to do his thing with the wide receivers and Trey McBride. It was a very underwhelming performance, numbers-wise, by Kyler Murray. Luckily, the game was close. Well, they were up. Then the game was close, so he didn't have to throw for 400 yards or whatever it was if they were down 21-0 in the first quarter. They were able to run the ball. The Cardinals had the ball for over 12 minutes in the first quarter, or just under 12 minutes in the first quarter of last game against Buffalo. They need to do that more, but it could be, spread throughout. More attempts, more balance. But they do need to continue to run the ball. And one other thing is, whoever the RB2 is going to be, whether it's Amari DiMercato or Trey Benson, need to see more from RB2. It was a lot of James Conner, a lot, early on last week, and that scares the bejesus out of me. It scares the living daylights out of me. Because if James Conner gets hurt and that's your reliance, that percentage is your reliance on James Conner, the Cardinals are going to be in trouble. Do more, run the ball. Do more. The obvious is find Marvin Harrison Jr. Whether it's wide receiver screens or whatever it may be, quick slants, get the juices moving. I mean, he did drop his wide open pass that would have got him some confidence. He and Kyler Murray have off-field rapport. Okay? On-field rapport is what you build in preseason. I have no problem with them not playing in the preseason. But I do think that without force-feeding him, not like the Cooper Kupp way where it's obvious that he's going to get 15 to 17 targets on Sunday, not force-feeding Marvin Harrison Jr. in double coverage just to say you threw him the ball. Not that. Get him more involved. If nothing else, it'll get fans off their back. Oh, why would you draft a Maserati if you're going to put it in the garage? Stop it. It's going to be fine, but it needs to start this week. Do more of that. Okay? And for me, do more of, because they didn't do a whole lot on Sunday against Josh Allen, is blitz the hell. I want hands and bodies in Matthew Stafford's face. They have 2 starting offensive linemen that are healthy for Sunday. 2. That's 40%. And I believe the left tackle is a third stringer. Blitz the hell out of Matthew Stafford. Because here's the thing. This pass rush is non-existent. Okay? So, if you blitz and the defense gets beat and burned, it probably would have happened that way anyways, even if the Cardinals didn't blitz. Okay? We saw Mac Wilson in some blitz packages One of them ended up being a tackle for loss on a run play where he just split through the offensive line. Maybe more of that. He did play a little edge when he was with New England. Maybe some Kazir White action. Maybe some cornerback action. You know these guys like to hit people. That's what I want to see from Nick Rallis on Sunday. Show Matthew Stafford something he hasn't seen before with an offensive line that is piecemeal together with Puka Nacua out. So you've got Cooper Kupp, Demarcus Robinson, and Tyler Johnson. And Colby Parkinson, the tight end. Blitz the hell out of Matthew Stafford because you know what? They got nothing to lose on defense. Nothing. And I think that's something that could benefit the Cardinals in the sense that it'll keep Matthew Stafford off kilter. When Matthew Stafford has his feet under him, he's one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. He can throw bad interceptions. He is still Matthew Stafford, but you need to get him frazzled in the pocket. And it doesn't just need to come off the edge. If you can find a way to bull rush up the middle and get in his kitchen, that works too. They need to figure out a way to get to Matthew Stafford because he is the head of the snake. And that's something that is massively important if the Cardinals want to get a win on Sunday. And then finally, touchdowns, not tight end. Touchdowns, not field goals. Cardinals did an okay job of that. They did an okay job of that. They did a good job of that against Buffalo. Michael Wilson touchdown close, James Conner touchdown close. They did a good job of that on Sunday. Touchdowns, not field goals. You want Matt Prater drinking a daiquiri on the sidelines, not alcoholic. On the sidelines. You don't want to see him on the field except for extra points. And one for one, the Cardinals did a good job. Like, all in all, what the Cardinals did well this past week, they did better than most teams. Kyler was third in EPA. Kyler was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in week one. They lost. Yes. The clip of Marvin Harrison Jr. being wide open is a wet blanket on their performance. Yes. And look around the rest of the league and see how much bad quarterback play there was. And that's not affecting the Cardinals in any way whatsoever. I understand that. But better than average is something that many NFL teams still yearn for from the quarterback position. So just keep that in mind. Having said all of that, and I will reinforce what I said in the first segment. The Cardinals need to prove to everybody that they can beat an injured team at home in a game that I'm at the point now where I'm like, they have to win this game, not for the win-loss record, but to prove to everybody that they can, and to prove to me that things are different. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. What do the Cardinals need to do less of next? This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Bink Prize Picks. So, Prize Picks is awesome. I can just say that. I can tell you about all my experience. I love Prize Picks. I've thrown down some cheese on Prize Picks. It's the easiest daily fantasy sports app to use. It is the number one daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. You pick more or less with their projections, 2 to 6 players, and you can win up to 100 times your cheese, man. Like, it is so easy. You could make your entry in like 60 seconds. And so say hypothetically speaking, say you want to go under Kyler Murray passing yards, over James Conner rushing yards, Trey Benson touchdown, and Marvin Harrison Jr. touchdown. You can do that on Prize Picks. You can do so many different combinations between 2 to 6 players, more or less in their projected stats. Boom, win some cheese. Download the Prize Pick app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. The new Locked On NFL is here. Locked On NFL is now 2 shows every day. First, the Madman Tyler Rowland kicks off your morning with a double shot of NFL espresso, and then stop by the barbershop with Tony Wiggins for some real NFL talk. Add in the Locked On local experts, and you get unprecedented NFL insight, hot opinions, detailed breakdowns, all in 30 minutes. It's a new Locked On NFL, and it's twice a day. Make the Madman Tyler Rowland and the barber Tony Wiggins your second listen at the new Locked On NFL on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. You can actually check me out with Tyler Rowland every Monday morning, hitting all the games that we just witnessed bright and early Monday morning. So you can see my big dumb face with Tyler, who's better looking than I am. What do the Cardinals need to do less of? How long you got? All joking aside, the defense played better than I thought they would. The Cardinals need to do less of giving up big chunk plays on third down. The defense needs to get off the field. When you get to a position, whether it be through penalty or good defense, tackle for loss, whatever it is, and you're looking at 3rd and 12, you need to get off the field. That needs to be a forced 4th down. Do yourself more favors, because they didn't do a whole bunch of them they didn't do a bunch of them against the Bills, except for the strip sack, recovered fumble on Josh Allen. They didn't do a whole lot of favors for themselves. That's the biggest one. Get off the field when you can. Get off the field when you can. I'm just going to throw this in because Cooper Kupp is not on the Bills. He's on the Rams, though. I don't know if I can draw you a diagram if need be. So you can't do less of when Cooper Kupp doesn't play against the Cardinals 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to pepper this in here. You can't let Cooper Kupp absolutely run roughshod on the Cardinals. He had 21 targets last week against the Lions. 21. Everybody in the building knows Matthew Stafford is going to look for Cooper Kupp first. Every passing play. Every passing play is the number one option. And the Cardinals don't have a great cornerback room. So, Cooper Kupp, like I tweeted out, Cooper Kupp could have 20 receptions for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not a joke. Now, the yardage thing I think is the only thing that is a far-fetched there, because he's not running deep routes. Like I talked with Travis Rogers from Locked On Rams yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, Travis is great. One of my good friends in this business. They're throwing 5-yard, like run 5 yards and turn around passes to Cooper Kupp, especially against zones. It's like their rush attack, because their offensive line is battered. They've only got two healthy starters. So Cooper Kupp is going to, whether he's in the slot or outside, run, turn around, catch the ball. It's going to be a lot of those. Cooper Kupp could, like, if you told me Cooper Kupp had 20 receptions at the end of the game, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Now, oh my God, how was that? How'd the card? Yeah, he's going to get his. Now, on this earth, he's probably going to have between 10 and 15, and I think that is an absolute lock for him to have between 10 and 15 catches. They need to keep Cooper Kupp in front of them, and not hurt him by any stretch. But, this is a tough part of the game where it's like, you don't want Cooper Kupp fresh for the entire game. They've got to stick him where he catches the ball. Yards after catch cannot be a thing. And it's a problem because he turns a 5-yard gain into a 20-yard gain very quickly, irrespective of age. He is a very, very quick wide receiver. He gets to where he wants to go. And especially inside the 10-yard line, in the red zone, it's just cheating. It's just cheating. They've got to keep Cooper Kupp under 100 yards, under 15 receptions, and under 2 touchdowns. Like, take the under on 1.5. That would be a win. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm not saying that to kind of backhand compliment the Cardinals' defense. He would do that against anybody, especially against a team with the cornerback and the cornerback room that they have, the lack of pass rush, and no Puka Nacua, and no Tyler Higbee, because he tore his ACL at the end of last season, so I don't even know if he's going to play this year. Like, this is a nightmare fuel scenario for the Cardinals. Early in the season, so he's fresh. No Puka Nacua. No Tyler Higbee. Bad pass rush. Tough cornerback room for the Cardinals so far. Max Melton's in concussion protocol. That's the do less of, less than 100 yards, less than 2 touchdowns, less than 15, and yes, 15 receptions. I mean that. And another thing they need to do less of is being so modest, being so, what's the word? Being so safe on 3rd and medium in scoring zone territory. I mean, running an outside zone from shotgun on 3rd and 6, and then running the ball on 3rd and 10 towards the end of the game. It's like, can't do that. Put the ball in Kyler Murray's hands. Here's the thing. I don't bring up Kyler Murray's contract a lot because I think it's, what is he, the 10th highest paid quarterback now? Like, it's not a bad contract. And he's the best player on the team. James Conner is great. James Conner is perfect. He's the metronome for this team. He is perfect as a running back for this organization. But when it comes down to it, when time is of the essence, if I can, put the ball in Kyler Murray's hands and let him work. Let him work. And that is the biggest thing going into Sunday. They need to do less of kind of bracketing Kyler Murray's ability to be Kyler Murray. Now, sure, he had a great run where he did the little juke that kept him in bounds, extended the run. I think it was 20-plus yard run. Let him eat the way that he does. Outside of the pocket, let him go. And I think that they did a great job having the safety valve. One was with Trey Benson, one was with Amari DeMarcado. They're flanked out to the side. Just have it there. Have it there for him. And just let him work. They've got so many playmakers on offense. Let them work. And I think that if the Cardinals can do more of and do less of the things that I just discussed, they'll get a win. The Cardinals need to win this game, not necessarily for their record, but to prove to everybody that they're not going to be one of the, why did I trust the Cardinals again? Fool me 100 times, shame on me. So they can prove to themselves and to the rest of the NFL that they are legitimate and are a threat on the rise. If they lose on Sunday, and if it's somewhat convincing, we're going to have completely different conversations come next week. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I will talk to you on Monday.